Today we're going to talk about cavitation, or also referred to as a runaway pump. Now, what this is when your pump is cycling, but it's not moving material, and it's usually cycling too fast, or faster than normal, and it sounds like this. So the first thing you want to do when your pump is cavitating is turn it off. The pump shutoff knob, we have twist knobs that you just turn to the off position. Some pumps have a push-pull style where out is on and you want to push it in to turn it off. And some of our older pumps have a red knob and you just turn that to the right. So once your pump is turned off, first thing you may want to check is just to make sure the grease isn't going somewhere else. You want to make sure everything is connected, you don't have a hose missing, a fitting, or maybe a valve open. If you're sure the grease is not coming out of the pump and going out to your system, then it is cavitating. The basic definition or cause of cavitation is that the pump intake shaft is supposed to be filled with grease, but if it's not getting grease, if it's just filled with air, that allows the pump to cycle up and down faster than normal, and it's essentially trying to pump air and not moving any material. What may cause cavitation? One of the basic explanations is there would be air in your container. If you're changing out containers, you want to refer to our pail change instructions, either in an operator's manual or a video that will lead you through kind of making sure the pail is prepared, or drum if you've got a larger pump, a dual post. When you do your container changes, you need to open either this valve or remove the T-handle to let the air out of the container. Once it's bled, then the valves are closed and you should have grease primed to the center to feed the pump. So when you've got through the bleeding of the container and bleeding the pump with, this is the pump bleed valve, there's other styles that are covered in the other videos. There's always a chance you could have air bubbles in the material, especially if you are using reused material. If it's a thick grease and you've pumped it into a spare container, you may have air trapped in the material. And that's very hard to get all the bubbles out, so at any point in time it just may cavitate. So let's look at another scenario. Say your pump has been running, you did all the bleed procedures, you're supplying the system, and all of a sudden it starts to cavitate. It's running too fast. One of the main mistakes that can be made is people leave the ram lever in the neutral position. When you put it in neutral, this stops, but it continues to pull grease out of the pail, and then it just creates an air pocket because it can't prime the grease and it can't follow the grease level downward. So want to make sure your lever is down and that you have adequate pressure. The thickness of your material determines how much pressure you need. A thicker material, you'll want to increase the pressure, and that pushes down harder on the material to force it up into the center. If you have a good pressure setting, your lever is down, then it's generally either air in the material or something downstream is disconnected. A third possibility is inside the grease pump itself. There are seals at the top. This is considered the air motor section. This is the intake shaft. There's seals in the intake shaft. If these seals are worn, it will allow the pump to cycle up and down where it's not actually transferring the grease. It's basically moving through the grease, but it's not moving the grease. Those are the main causes of cavitation or runaway pump. If you need any further help diagnosing your issue, feel free to give us a call. If you think you might need a rebuild kit for a motor that's worn out or any other parts for your pump or your system, let us know. We're happy to help.